And we are back. Welcome, guys. My name is DK, and in this video, we're going to be breaking down the 5-game NBA Summer League DFS slate on Draftkings. I cover content for DFS, player prop stuff like Prize Picks, Underdog, and Parlay Play. Underdog, they're the sponsor of today's video. We had a phenomenal day of props yesterday, 6-1. The only miss was Jordan Hawkins' points, and he shot like 2% from the fields. That was pretty tilting. But yeah, amazing day for Underdog props. Been having a lot of fun playing them for Summer League. If you guys are a first-time user, you can use the code DKDFS for a $250 deposit match bonus, or you can use the code DKDFS. That'll be linked down below. Highly recommend it if you're not an Underdog. Yeah, if you guys are looking for more content, you check my Patreon. It's been an amazing Summer League. We'll recap everything here in a sec. And yeah, so what you get is obviously breakdowns for both the main and the early slate videos, player pool, live stream before lock, answer questions, Discord access, starting lineups posted, all that good stuff. Every piece of news I find is over on Patreon. So yeah, let's recap yesterday. So just another phenomenal day. We won the main slate. I got second in the shutdown slate, came so close to winning another couple $1,000 to the shutdown slate. But let's take a look at my main slate lineup, and then we'll get into the breakdown. So once this comes up, again, my computer, sorry for running a little slow, but just the way it goes for Summer League and me having a million tabs up at all times. Okay, so this is my lineup. Went Xavier Moon, Mason Jones, Colin Castleton, Kobe Brown, Filipowski, Roden, Miller, and Knicks. So, you know, before the slate started, Xavier Moon stood out as one of the best values, obviously. Now, we did have some more value opening up with, you know, some guys getting shut down. But he really stood out to me. Once we got the confirmation that Keon Ellis is out, I really liked Mason Jones. Colin Castleton was someone that I was fine playing, even if Connect played. Connect played. Forward was just so weak. So, you know, Castleton does have a pretty high floor. Went with him. He had a great game, 12, 7, and 6. So, solid game there for Castleton. Kobe Brown started extremely slow, but thankfully picked it up. You know, again, forward was relatively weak, not a lot of options. So I originally had Moussa Diabate in my center spot, but then we got news that he was not starting. So I had to do the sharp thing and obviously pivot off. I went to Filipowski. He was totally fine for value. Roden was someone that did open up, right? I wasn't sure exactly what the Magic starting lineup was going to be. We knew those top 3 guys were going to be out. Roden started, had a decent game, started very slow, kind of picked it up there in the 4th and in overtime. Then rounded out with Leonard Miller and Deshaun Nix. Nix is one of the best point per hour plays in the mid-range. Leonard Miller, again, they kind of trolled his minutes game 2. He played normal minutes game 3. What I told everyone was like, listen, if he plays normal minutes again, he's an amazing play. Well, he did play normal minutes, and he absolutely smashed. So, won the tournament by 6 points. Second place was 263. I was 269. So amazing day. And yeah, we almost swept the board for props as well. So let's see if we can keep it going. Oh, and one other thing. So on YouTube comments yesterday, this one is for Yolanda. So he had a few comments, few comments to say in my YouTube video. Said, get to the picks. He said, you did not give one pick. You just ran your mouth about the roster. Stop wasting people's time. He said, most of these people are not on FanDuel to bet. Fade your ass. So I just wanted to say, this absolutely massive day, insanely profitable day was for you, buddy. All right. Let's talk about the main slate once it loads. Okay, so we'll start off with the Knicks here. So the Knicks, again, Jacob Toppin got banged up the game before. He did not play last game. We'll keep an eye on that news. But they shifted Bow into the starting lineup and ran a relatively tight rotation. Huck Porty, Pacome, Kolek, Bow, and Dwayne Washington. Dwayne Washington also got a little bit banged up, but he did end up returning. Kolek, I just wanted to say how incredibly happy I am for him and not tilted at all. I had his over PRA this game. Didn't do anything. The next game, 21 points, 8 assists, 4 boards. So incredibly happy for him. But yeah, if there is no Jacob Toppin, obviously a little bit more usage to go around. Kolek is a stat sheet stuffer. I would say 21 points is probably a bit of an outlier, but still a relatively safe play at the top. Again, the Knicks have been running a pretty tight rotation. But Comey at 6.4K, I just don't really see the upside in him right now, so I'll pass. Dwayne Washington, I like again. 31, 26, and 26 minutes, 18, 12, and 18 shot attempts. I think a pretty good play there in the mid-range. We'll keep an eye on top. And again, Huck Porty had a good game, 5.1K, 23 minutes. I think he's a reasonable value play. Bow shifted in the starting lineup, played 25 minutes at 4.4K. I also think he's a pretty good value play. And then off the bench, a couple guys to mention. You had Rokas Jokobatis, had a good game in 21 minutes, more of a contrarian play. And then Skapantstev, how you pronounce his name. So I'm playing the backup 5, and it's been a really good point per minute player. So I think he is another value play that will be relatively popular. Okay, let's move on to the Pistons. So the Pistons, we saw Ron Holland sit 2 games ago, but he played last game. So let me bring this up. Okay, so they started Smith, Sasser, Klintman, Holland, and Jenkins. Sasser, Klintman, Holland, and Jenkins all played really solid minutes. Smith only played 18. So yeah, at the top, you got Marcus Sasser, 8.1K. It's really not shot well. 0 of 6, 3 of 9, 5 of 13, but we saw some big games from him last year in the Summer League, so still think he's an interesting contrarian play. Ron Holland, 7.9K, 2 really solid games. Been stuffed in the stat sheet. I think he's a decent option. Klintman at 5.9K has continued to play around 30 minutes. Reasonable price point for him, right? Jenkins did not have the best shooting game, but still started 26, 27, and 27 minutes over the last 3 games for him. I think he's one of the better values on the slate for sure. Tulu Smith's been starting. The issue is just the minutes, but he's a good point per minute player, so a fair value play. Off the bench, they played 10 guys. No one played more than 15 minutes, so probably can't do anything. I know Jace Johnson had a really good game. Maybe there's a chance he starts over Tulu Smith since he had 19 and 5, but we'll monitor the starting lineup there. For Philadelphia, I do think there's a chance they shut down guys. Again, they've played now, 6 games? Because they played 3 in the Summer League Classic and now 3 in Vegas. But they ran the same starting lineup: Bona, Edwards, Council, McCain, and Downton. Once again, offense is running through those top 3 guys: Council, McCain, and Downton. We mentioned how I thought Downton was going to be a bit over-owned because of recent games. He was. And McCain outperformed him at less ownership. So, I've been interested in all 3. I think the ceiling is the highest in rookie Council if he can make his shots. 3 of 15 shooting is obviously not going to get it done. Downton, McCain, I think a little bit higher floor and easier to get to at 6'9" and 6'8" respectively. Bona at 6K, not really great offensively, but again, decent rebound, gets some block shots, fair play, maybe a little bit overpriced. Edwards has been the other starter, but the minutes have not been great on him. He's still playable, but I think there's better value options on the board. Off the bench, Mintz had an okay game. Aluma had been smashing every single game off the bench. I finally clicked him. 13 minutes, outlier, bad game. I think he'll be unowned because of that, but I think he's an interesting bounce back candidate. And once again, as I always say in these videos, right? The casual players, what do? They just look at who did well last game and they click them. So if you can find guys that kind of underperformed maybe last game or the last couple games, you can do very well. I've done that all Summer League. It's made me a ton of money, right? Keon Ellis in the early slate a couple games ago. David Roddy, right? Did I play anyone that kind of underperformed? This, not really. Kobe Brown had been underperforming, I guess. So I guess, yeah, he was pretty low owned. But I knew the minutes and usage were still there for him. Okay, let's talk about San Antonio. So San Antonio ran a pretty disgusting rotation last game. Castle's done for the Summer League. David Duke's been out. I don't expect him to play. Mensah also got banged up. He only played 4 minutes. So it was Mensah, Bouye, Sissoko, Ward, and Ingram that started. Starting lineup would be pretty important here to see if Mensah can't play, who starts at 5 there. Bouye has been very productive. The issue is the minutes last couple games. Only 24, 23 minutes is a little bit concerning. If you told me he was going to play close to that 30-minute mark, he would be one of my favorite plays in the slate, but the minutes have been a little bit concerning for him. Harrison Ingram and Sissoko, I think, are relatively safe plays. 31, 28, and 30 minutes for Harrison Ingram has not really shot the best, but minutes have been there. Sissoko, second-round rookie last year, 31 and 30 minutes in 2 of the last 3 games. He's a reasonable play. Nothing else that I feel amazing about. Like I said, keep an eye on the starting lineup. Masalowski, however you pronounce his name, could get the start for Mensah. If Mensah can't go, he's had double-digit rebounds in every single game off the bench, so keep an eye on that. But yeah, Williams also had a decent game off the bench. Something to note: 4.5K, 19 minutes, 26 fantasy points. I would say probably a bit of an outlier. Toronto, Miami. So I do think there's a chance Toronto shuts down some guys. We did see Grady Dick did not play last game. Toronto's also been running an absolutely disgusting rotation. I mean, disgusting. But they started Carlson, Walter, Shed, Freeman, Liberty, and Agbachi. So Freeman, Liberty shifted in the starting lineup for Grady Dick. I think Freeman, Liberty is the standout, assuming he starts again. 24 minutes in the starting lineup, going to be a good point per minute. The only downside is just the minutes, right? Toronto's playing no one big minutes. Agbachi, 8.2K, 26 minutes. I think I'd rather get to Freeman, Liberty for cheaper. I'll pass on Walter. Shed at 5.3K played the most of anyone. He played 27 minutes. I think that's a little bit interesting at 5.3K, assuming he continues to start. Carlson has been starting, but only played 17 minutes last game. He's a good point per minute player. That is a little bit concerning, though. Only 17 minutes. Off the bench, Kamachi backed him up. He played 19 minutes. He's an okay dart throw there at 4.4. Carton was the only guy that played decent minutes on the bench, 22 minutes. Okay, let's talk about Miami. So Miami, we know Jaime Jaquez is down. But let me bring up their rotation last game. So they started Ware, Johnson, Larson, Stevens, and Josh Christopher. So yeah, Ware 8.8K. I think is a very safe play at the top. No Jaime Jaquez, a lot more usage to go around. Good rebounder. Can get some block shots as well. So if you have the salary for Ware, I think he's a very, very good option. Josh Christopher, who was massive chalk last game. Again, I played Keon Ellis over him because, listen, right? This is how you win at DFS. 7 of 9 shooting, 8 of 11 shooting out the bench. He shifted in the starting lineup. I figured, okay, the casual players, they're going to see that. They're just going to jam him. He was way over-owned. He was like 60%. Keon Ellis is 5%, right? So just identify, like, I think Josh Christopher is a much better play today than what he was last slate, because he's going to be not even close to what he was on last slate. So I think Christopher is an interesting bounce back candidate if he does start again. 7.2K, that was not the best price point. Kashad Johnson only played 19 minutes. That was a little bit concerning. So I don't love the price point there. I think Stevens and Larson are both solid value. Stevens started, played 31 minutes. Again, more usage to go around. Obviously, no Jaime Jaquez. Larson's been starting. He played 30 minutes. I think he's a pretty safe value play. I do think there's a chance Cole Swider could start, but if he comes to the bench, probably can't do it. And then Alondas Williams is the only other guy that played decent minutes. 4.6K, viable in GPPs. Okay, 2 games left. We got Golden State, Oklahoma City. This Golden State team's been tilting me, man. It was the Golden State Scrubs against a fully healthy Cleveland team last time out. I got insane value on Cleveland money line plus money, and the Golden State Scrubs blew out a fully healthy Cleveland team. Just could not believe my eyes, but yeah, no Jackson Davis, no Pajemski. Knox got ruled out last game. Santos is not with the team. Marcus Bolden's on crutches. So this team is very shorthanded. Last game they started Sorkin, Rose, Spencer, Collins, Plowden. I've understood all the starters. Plowden, 5.7K, probably your safest bet. Ben playing consistent minutes, getting a lot of shots up. I think he looks very safe. Ethan Thompson off the bench is viable. The only downside is only 13 minutes. He's going to chuck when he's out there, but 13 minutes is a little bit concerning. Rose played very well in the starting lineup, 28 minutes. I think he's one of the better values on the board. Pat Spencer I expect to be very popular, 27 minutes, 38 feints. Winston did have 4 steals, but assuming he starts again, yeah, Pat Spencer is going to be a very popular value play. Sorkin I expect to be popular as well. He started, played 24 minutes, good point per minute. Yuri Collins had an okay game in 27 minutes, probably his best of the summer league, but he's not the best point per minute player. Again, we mentioned Thompson off the bench. Dante Scott was the only guy that played good minutes off the bench. He played 26. He's a contrarian value play. Oklahoma City. So Oklahoma City shut down their main 3 guys. So we saw them run a relatively tight rotation. They played 9 guys. Kelly started, only played 9 minutes though. Kopp played 27 minutes. Keontae Johnson, 27 minutes. Buddy Boeheim, 29 minutes, and Maldonado, 32 minutes. So again, no Jones, no Mitchell, no Flagler. Keontae Johnson, I think, is an interesting contrarian play. Minutes ticked up. He got 19 shots up, too, without those main 3 guys. Still didn't have the best shooting game, but I think he's a good tournament play. Don't think a lot of people will click him because of box score watching. Kelly started, only played 9 minutes. I'm not sure if he got banged up. I'll try to look at that on Twitter, but Maldonado, I think, is very safe, assuming he starts again. He played the most, 32 minutes. He's kind of a stat sheet stuffer, double-double, very good value. Shackelford played well off the bench. I think there's an outside chance he starts because how well he played. Buddy Boeheim played extremely well in the starting lineup, 29 minutes, 41 feints points. I would say a bit of an outlier, but again, this team is very short-handed. There's a lot of usage to go around, so gotta have interest in him. Kopp at 4.4 is fine, but I think I'd rather get to Boeheim or Maldonado at a similar price point. And yeah, the only guy that played decent minutes off the bench was Mitchell, 4.3K. He played the backup 5 over KJ Williams. Didn't have the best shooting game, or didn't have the best game in general, but decent, contrarian play. And finally, Portland. So Portland, I think there's a chance that they could rest guys as well. Yeah, last game, so they started Donovan, Chris Murray, Mania, Rupert, and Kennedy Chandler. So Donovan at the top at 8.5K really hasn't had the best shooting in the summer league. 1 of 8, 4 of 11, 3 of 10. Not great for a big. But if you can have a decent shooting game, I mean, the floor is there. Block shots, rebounds. So like the ceiling, good amount here on Big Donovan. McGowan's has been coming out the bench. I can't do that at that price point. Chris Murray, 7.5, continues to play big minutes. I think there's better spend ups, not completely out of play though. Mania, I can't go there because of the minutes. Rupert continues to play good minutes, 5.2K. I think he's one of the better values in the slate. 32, 32, and 31 minutes. Like Ryan Rupert, a good amount there. Kennedy Chandler's been starting last couple games, but 24 minutes is not ideal. I think he's fine, but not a must play. And then, yeah, they spread out the minutes off the bench. Finally, Charlotte. So Charlotte, we know Brandon Miller's done. The rookie Salon, however you pronounce his name, did not play last game. So that was interesting, something to note there. But last game, they started Stevens, Slater, Black, Nick Smith, and Xavier Simpson. So at the top, Nick Smith Jr. Can't wait to lose more money in this guy. It took us over points earlier. 17, 21, and 16 shot attempts. Obviously, no more Brandon Miller. So if Nick Smith does play, like the ceiling on him quite a bit. Xavier Simpson, very safe. 31, 33, 30 minutes. He's a stat sheet stuffer. Very safe play there in the mid-range. I'll pass on Leaky Black. Just not great offensively. What else? Stevens has been starting the 5, only played 20 minutes last game, but I think he's a solid value. Him and kind of Banks split the center position. James Banks is 4.4K. He played 16 minutes. He's an okay GPP play. What else? Slater was the other starter, 4.1K, 23 minutes, and I'll pass there. And then Morgan played 25 minutes on the bench. He's a viable tournament play. Okay, guys, so that's going to wrap up the video. Again, if you guys are looking for more in-depth content, player pops, all that stuff we mentioned, you can check out my Patreon link down below. But other than that, good luck. If you do enjoy, make sure to like, subscribe, hit the notification bell. We'll see you all in the next video.